Y'all, we are back again. We are catching up with these videos. We got to talk about Quadwebb stealing Sweet Tea storyline. And y'all heard what I said, stealing. That is exactly what I mean. And let me just tell you why I'm using the word stealing Sweet Tea storyline, because if y'all watched Married to Medicine, Sweet Tea's storyline was what? She wanted to have a baby. We ain't never heard about Quad wanting to have a baby. In fact, Quad didn't want to have kids when she was married. So Quad done hijacked Sweet Tea's storyline. That made sure to get Sweet Tea off the show. And now we are using Sweet Tea's storyline. Y'all got to do better, Married to Medicine.
Please, please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
All right, guys, so let's get into it. Now, I don't know if you guys missed the information with regards to Sweet Tea not coming back to Married to Medicine. And I'm going to be honest, Sweet Tea didn't really come out and tell y'all. She kind of did it in a roundabout way, unless I missed it. Now, I know she did do a video, but she didn't really say it, or maybe I missed it. But for those of you that may have missed it, let's get into a video that Sweet Tea did. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this is coming from the real Sweet Tea. Let's get into it.
I'm glad you're not coming back to Married to Medicine. I didn't like how it worked out. It was foul. I mean, it definitely was foul. And I'm just going to say, I haven't really talked a lot about this, but, I really wanted to leave it to my fans to figure out like what was going on, because know that I'm not a quitter. Never ever been a quitter. And I ain't never ran away from anybody. So just putting that out there, but it just is what it is. And I think that there are better things in store for me. I think that platform was what it was for me at the moment. And I think that God has something better and I'm going down the right path. So that's all. And just know I don't never bow down to no bitch. Just know that. Can't do it. Never will do it. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Sweet Tea, will you be doing any movie appearances?
And that's kind of what I meant when I said Sweet Tea didn't really come out and say it, but that's kind of her way of saying it. I mean, she said it. We all have delivery and how we deliver stuff. And that's how she chose to deliver it. So, Sweet Tea, I'm sure you guys know by now, she will not be coming back to the Married to Medicine. Now, we've all watched the show. If you guys, if you're over here, you've probably watched Married to Medicine, because we normally talk a lot about Married to Medicine. Now, we were all very upset when we found out that Sweet Tea would not be coming back. But I told y'all that more than likely, they were setting them up to not be able to come back. First, as I told y'all, I said they were going to try to say that, she was hitting them or doing some crazy stuff. When we found out, that wasn't necessarily true, then they tried this other thing. Then it was, Quad's man trying to get at Dr. G. It was just all crazy. But we know that was orchestrated not only by Dr. Heavenly, it was orchestrated by Quad and the rest of them. This is how they are. They did not want Sweet Tea on the show, which is crazy because Dr. Jackie, we got Dr. What's her name? Dr. Crazy, Dr. Heavenly. They all went and recruited her only to have her come back to use for a storyline to just throw a person away, which they do that to everybody. So I don't even know why people want to be on the show unless they just want to be on there for a season or two, because we got the core women. We got Dr. Heavenly Quad. We got Simone, Dr. Jackie, and Toya. It's all about them. Anybody else, you are probably going to be disposed of. But the reason why I did this video is, again, we know Sweet T's journey. She wants to have a baby. She spoke about the different processes. I just don't want to quote it wrong. I don't know very much about IVF, but I know that there were different forms of whatever it was that she was doing. And the crazy part about this is, you know, we've watched Quad on this show. Quad was married to Dr. G, never really expressed wanting to have any children. So she didn't express it. In fact, she said she didn't. Now, I know most recently she said, oh, I just didn't want to have a baby by him. But I just feel when you get to a certain age, if you're going to have children, at least be married. Now, you know, when you're young, we make mistakes, not saying your children were a mistake, but once you get older, why do you want to be Quad's age and have a baby out of wedlock? Like, girl, you're not 20 years old. You are 40 plus. I just don't understand that. But I mean, I guess, have a baby. I mean, it's not like, have a baby by a millionaire. Is that what's his name? 50 Cent say? He definitely ain't a millionaire. In fact, Quad's man just got in trouble or sued because the judge said in his ruling that pretty much King has stole a car, him and these people. While they couldn't really call it a actual theft, they said it was a theft. And I spoke about that before. But the thing that I want to talk about is this is why people call Quad a fraud, because the things that she does is never authentic. Now, here they ganged up to get Sweet T off of this show to now talk about her IVF journey, which is crazy, but because, girl, what IVF journey? And then it's so interesting that you talked about Sweet T and her inability to have a child when you can't have one either. That is so crazy, because you're going through IVF. You can't have a baby the regular way, because if you did, you wouldn't be going through IVF. So it just, again, gives how fraud she is. And this is why I drag her every chance I get, because she's not authentic. She's not like an Angela Oakley, who is so refreshing. Like, what could you really say about Angela Oakley? These women need to stay off this show. For one, they don't like to talk about their life. They lie and come up with these storylines. Now, this particular video is being shared by the Jasmine brand. And what Quad does is she hijacks Sweet T's storyline and she talks about when Married to Medicine comes back on. Oh, and I got a feature on there too. Anywho, I just gave y'all that for free. She's talking about how her and King is going to talk about their IVF journey. Well, I wonder who she got that storyline from. Let's get into it.
You say I cry more.
Okay.
Yeah, I am more because I'm an empath anyway.
Yeah.
But I am more emotional.
Yeah.
I will say this. I had no idea it took all of this to make a baby. I had no idea. The people had me fooled because I come from where people have stair steppers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In my city. And so I just never thought that I was going to have a challenge. I am 44 years old. You know, so it's not that I'm oblivious, but I feel 25. So I thought that I never thought it was going to happen to me. I didn't think it was going to be a challenge for me. And it's a lot, Nene.
Yeah,
it really
ready
is.
for motherhood?
I'm ready. I'm past.
Yeah.
I'm past ready.
Wow.
I really want twins.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So are you a father?
Yeah, I'm a father. I have a 10-year-old daughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she wants to make it
father.
3, and I'm like, let's go with 1, but she wants 2.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
I love twins for you.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work. You're going to have to just get in there, honey.
Yes.
You're just supposed to be putting the baby in the oven anyway.
Well,
We're still working on it.
We never stop. We never stop. We still do 15.
Yeah.
But we just got to get a little extra help just in case. Like it's gonna happen one way or the other. Trust.
Yeah,
You've been struggling with that 15 lately, though.
You know what I mean?
Now, just listen to Quad. She didn't think it was that hard to have a baby. It's not. It's just hard for you, my darling. So you really have to be careful what you say about other people, because here you are struggling to do the same thing that Sweet Tea was trying to do when you told her how she couldn't, and you are in the same damn predicament. Isn't that kind of ironic? You really have to be careful how you address people and how you try to drag people when you are in the same situation. She said she didn't think it was that hard to have a baby. It's not, it's just hard for you. So here we go. Quadwebb, Quad the fraud. Mariah gave her that name. Here she goes, hijacking Sweet Tea's storyline about, because this is what Sweet Tea wanted her storyline to be about. She, she was trying to get pregnant. However, it seems like the show focused on a lot of minute shit that we didn't even care to see because it was really irrelevant. But isn't that so crazy how now you guys have taken Sweet Tea's story, and now Quad wants to have a damn baby by a man that she ain't even married to. Allegedly, they saying he actually like dudes, and he got a little stuff going on, Quad, because the fact that people are lying on this internet and said that somebody stole a car away from him when he was renting a car that he didn't even own is crazy. That's why I like to get the court documents. So King rented a car that he didn't own, which the contract told him he couldn't do it. So I don't know. This is given storyline. And in all honesty, these reality shows are getting quite boring. Um, they're not being authentic with the storylines. They're orchestrated. They're false. Quad done went and found this man somewhere down at the what is that called? The driver, because this they say was allegedly her driver. So you mean to tell me you fell in love with your driver and now y'all having a baby together? That is the craziest ish that I have ever in my life heard of. How convenient of it that you now have Sweet Tea's exact storyline. Get the hell up out.